Hello everyone, Zane here and welcome to another Final Fantasy XIV video. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make millions of gil with your battle classes only in Endwalker. Also, if you guys want early access to any gil making tips and or tricks for me ahead of time before I make these videos, consider becoming a YouTube member or a Patreon supporter for $1 a month. The link for the Patreon will be in the description, and the join button on my channel is for the memberships. You also get recognized at the end of my videos as a thank you. Also, you'll get emotes and also a badge next to your name. If not, you guys can always get the content for free when I post it. Now, as per usual, make sure you guys check your market boards on your server to see which items are selling the most. This way you guys don't waste your resources. Because in this video, we're going to be making gil from a variant dungeon, and your tokens that you get from variant dungeon are going to be very useful. So I can only show you guys 10 days from my sales history because that's how far they go in 14, and this is also going to be a culmination of October and November sales. If you guys want to see what I got in October, I'll make sure to link that video down below, which is going to be from my last gil video that I made. This one is more dedicated to variant dungeon, unlike the last one. Now, most of the stuff that I sold comes from the tokens, but minions and parasols will come from the chests that drop in between the bosses and also the bosses themselves. The hairstyles, the fashion accessories, and the glamour will come from the tokens themselves. So if you get the minions, be very lucky that you got them because those ones are extremely hard to get. Okay? So for me, I have sold more hairstyles than anything else because hairstyles are more universal, except for Rothgars who most likely cannot use them. Fashion accessories can be used by anybody, and so will the glam. So it's best to focus on hairstyles and fashion accessories first because these are the lowest token items that you want to sell. So while you're doing your variant dungeons, grab these first, put them on the market board while you're working on getting the glamour stuff next. Okay, but this is going to be from the last 10 days of variant dungeon runs. You can do it within about 15 to 20 minutes depending on what job that you're using. I'm on Samurai, which is probably the best job to do it because they can probably cut everybody down by 15 minutes. So remember that in order to unlock a variant dungeon, you must have the main story quest done of 6.0. For a low island, you must complete the Salt Trap's duty quest in order to unlock it. Just by talking to Osmond here by the harbor in Old Sharlyan. So you must at least do one run in each of the variant dungeons to unlock the artifact exchange. So the good thing about a variant dungeon that you can do any of these in any order, just as long as you unlock them. So the Sildine subterranean is going to be here. Make sure that you go to the top one because this is for Savage. So as you can see here, the tokens that you get, which is 3 per run, that's for all 3. You need to do 5 runs to get a headpiece, 9 runs to get a body piece, 3 runs to get a hand piece, 4 runs for a leg piece, and then of course 1 run for the earrings, but nobody really buys these because you can't trade them. And then you got the emote, which the Sultana uses at the end of the runs. Alright, so when it comes to this, never get the body piece because the body piece can basically be sold at the same amount as the other ones. So you would ultimately want to save your tokens for the lesser pieces. These used to be better because they would sell over 1 million, but because these have dropped over the years, or over the year, it's best to go for the lesser ones. Okay. Emotes, you never can go wrong with emotes because everybody can utilize emotes more than glamour. Mount Rockon has more options. You get more glamour than usual. You have the fashion accessory, which is basically Hancock's eyeglasses. You have an emote, then you have a hairstyle, which cannot be used by Rothgars, I believe. So you ultimately want to sell the hair, and for me, I would honestly go with the legs because I sold the legs the most. The body, this has been dropped from 9 runs, I think, down to 6. Yeah, 6 runs to get a body piece, and this goes for almost 1 million kills, so this is definitely more worth it than it was for the Sildine subterranean. But definitely try to go for accessories and hairstyles first, and the emotes to get them on the market board, and then focus on the glamour next. This way you guys are selling something while you're going for the bigger pieces. And then my favorite, Alolo Island, goes back to where it was for the Soldian Subterrane, going back to the 27 for the body. So 9 runs, 5 runs, 3 runs, 4 runs, so on and so forth. For this, on my server, the wings unfortunately dropped down to under 100,000 because idiots, they can't undercut right. But the emotes and the hairstyles, I would ultimately go with first. Alright, get these on the market board while you're working on the glamour pieces. In my opinion, I sold more hand pieces and the leg pieces than anything else. Alright, I never go for the music. I just don't think the music is that worth it because it's mostly for your housing or your own sanctuary, so the music is not something I would focus on. Focus on emotes, fashion accessories, and hairstyles. Now, let's look at the market board on my server. I made sure to favor everything from the variant dungeon, so I have everything here, the gear-wise anyway. So starting from the top, we have the Noir hat on my server. They go for almost 500,000 on my server. We have the Free Spirits hat from Alolo Island. There's only one on my server, which is unusual. But yeah, as you can see, this is when they first started coming out, and then everybody just started to bomb everything. But yeah, there's only one hit on my server, which I should take advantage of. Next we have the hat from the Mount Rakon, which is only 3 hits on my server, going for almost 400,000. Next we have the other headpiece from Mount Rakon, which is going for almost 500,000. The Noir coat that I mentioned earlier, as you can see, 500,000. It's almost the same price as the headpiece, so it's like I said, not worth going after when everything else is just easier to farm. We have the Free Spirits jacket from Alolo Island. We have the body piece from Mount Rakon, which I showed you is the most expensive of all of the pieces so far, and I've sold some of these myself. We have the other body piece from Mount Rakon, which is almost 1,000,000 kill. Has a little bit less hits than the other one. The Noir gloves, which is more probably on the cheaper side. We have the Free Spirits ring bands, which is one of the things I sold most from the glamour from Alolo Island. That's around 300,000 on my server. The slacks, this is just as much as the body pieces, but less runs to go through. We have the crop slops from the Alolo Island. Not too many hits on this one, but the undercutting has been horrible. But the sales history shows that they sold decently around the 200,000-300,000 mark. The leg pieces from Mount Rakon, again, horribly undercutted as per usual. But yeah, they're definitely been decently priced over the past month. And the other leg piece, again, and also please don't do this. It's hard enough to sell these, but it's really annoying when some idiot just decides to put like 5 or 10 at one time. Just don't do that. If you're going to do that, make sure that each of your retainer has at least one to make it look like there's more than one person trying to sell these. That's something that just aggravates you, especially when you're doing minions. Minions are almost impossible to get like daily and consistently. So when someone does that with minions, it just pisses me off. Noir shoes is on the lesser side. These are the ones I bought out because some idiot decided to make them even more cheaper. Then we have the loafers from Alolo Island. Not a bestseller, as you can see, no one really cares for them. So I probably would say avoid the loafers. And then the last feet pieces from Mount Rakon. Alright, so those are going to be all of the glamour pieces from the variant dungeon. And now let's go over all the miscellaneous stuff that you can get from the variant dungeons. So this is parasols, minions, hairstyles, emotes, and the like. So first thing is going to be the parasol from Mount Rakon itself. I've gotten this a couple times in my runs. There's only 5 hits on my server because they don't drop very often, and a lot of people don't really do Mount Rakon as much as I would like. Mount Rakon, I honestly would say, is the more annoying one because the bosses are just ass when it comes to their mechanics. But as you can see here, they do sell pretty decently if you do manage to get one. The Giant Leaf Parasol is the hardest one to get. I've done like 30 plus runs of Alolo Island, and I only got 2. One for myself and one to sell. And if you are like this person, which I hope you're not, I hope you step on a Lego, because there's no reason to sell this many at one time. Okay? If you're going to do something stupid like this, at least spread it to other retainers to make it look like it's not just one person. And even though there are 900,000, they don't sell for that much. Only 2 have sold. The rest of them dropped down to 400,000, which I honestly would recommend doing. Which is kind of sad, really. The Saboteur Tender Parasol is from the Sylvian Subterrane. The thing is with this that they made the 2 chests drop before the first boss, so you can basically spam the first trash packs to get to the 2 treasure chests to get a chance of getting the Parasol, which is something they remedied in the other 2. And as you can see, they are pretty cheap, but not that not cheap enough where it's not worth selling. Next is going to be the Fairy Wings from Alolo Island. Now these unfortunately dropped under 100,000 a couple of weeks ago, which unfortunately is because of bad undercutting, but they went back up to over 100,000, which is good because you only need 1 run of Alolo Island for this to be acquired. So next is going to be the reference emote. This is from Mount Rakon. You will see Hancock use this during the run. So 300,000, I think you need 2 runs to get the emote. And as you can see, they definitely are consistent over 300,000 gil. Next, Humble Triumph is from Alolo Island. Same concept, I think it takes 2 runs to get an emote. And I don't know what this person was doing. They must have misclicked or just probably sold it for what it says on there, which is ridiculous because they've lost a lot of gil. But yeah, make sure you check before you finalize your prices. The Ample emote is the WoW emote from Sylvian Subterrane. I would say it's the lowest one. Definitely the lowest one because they went way under 100,000. Which is just sad. Impatient people ruin a lot of the things on the market board. Next is the Bold and the Braid. This is Durante's haircut, I believe, from Alolo Island. Sales history shows they sold pretty nicely where they are at around 300,000. Ambitious Ends. This is, I believe, from Mount Rakon. Again, someone decides to just sell 10 at one time. And the thing is, no one buys these. You know, it's ridiculous. You waste all that time and you just slap them on the market board, ignore them, and they never sell. So in this case, we would only have 8 hits instead of 18 if this person didn't act like an idiot. Next is going to be some minions. So the Silky Minion is from Sylvian Subterrane, which surprisingly still sells over 200,000. Again, you can just run the first part of the dungeon to get your 2 treasure chests if you choose the path of the NPC. Of course, they changed this in the other 2 to make sure that the 2 treasure chests end up at the end of the dungeon. This one, I believe, comes from Mount Rakon, but I rarely ever see it. If it does not come from Mount Rakon, please let me know. But this is the most expensive minion so far, at 3 million gil. And yes, people do buy them at 3 million. This one is from Mount Rakon. It's the more common one that you will find. I have a couple of these drop on my runs. They went under 100,000, which is just stupid. But thankfully, they went back up. Dog is also from Mount Rockon. It's also in one of the fights. This is over almost 200,000 gil, which is pretty nice because honestly, these minions do deserve to be sold for more than, the counterparts. This one here, I've gotten like 4 during my Lolo Island runs. I gave one to a friend of mine that was helping. So 300 to 400,000. And of course this one, even though I only seen this drop once, which was on stream a couple of weeks ago, it is lesser than the bird minions, which is unfortunate. And of course this person here has to be an idiot and put more than just one at one time. Okay, so that's going to be it for all the minions. If you get housing items, vendor them or using them yourself, because for whatever reason people don't value the furnishings, even though the drop rate is just as low as everything else because it comes from the treasure chest itself. So for the furnishings, use them yourself or just vendor them. Do not sell them. They are not worth it. So last minute advice for me. When it comes to selling stuff like this, patience is a virtue. These items here are not going to fly off the shelves like materia or crafting and gathering materials, okay? These take time and patience and a little bit of tenacity if you're trying to undercut people. But make sure you don't undercut more than is necessary. Just because you undercut something from 100,000 gil doesn't mean it's going to sell. People are going to buy it when they're damn good and ready and when they have the gil to do so. And also make sure you undercut before you go to bed. How many times I lost money off of hairstyles because I didn't undercut people before I went to bed, and I woke up and lost 3 to 4 times sales because I was an idiot. So make sure you undercut before you go to bed or before you go to work. Next thing is if you're going to be doing the solo, you're going to want some specific actions depending on your role. If you're a tank, always bring Spirit Dart and Cure. Healer, Spirit Dart and Rampart. And if you're DPS, Cure and Rampart. The Mount Rockon and the Alolo Island, choose their route and you'll get an extra chest at the end before the final boss. And for the Sildian Subterrane, it will be before the first boss. And they can drop the parasols and also the minions. If not, and then you end up getting these stupid, well, I kind of sold them, but you'll get those stupid Magitech things that you can use, which are basically worthless. Okay, but make sure you choose their route every single time and choose the mechanic that you find the easiest for each route. That's the best advice that I can give you. So guys, that's pretty much going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you're new for more Final Fantasy XIV content, and join the First Brood. If you guys want to join my Discord server, the link is in the description down below. And if you guys want to support my channel monetarily, I do have YouTube memberships available, and a link to my Patreon in the description down below. So until next time, may you forever walk in the glorious light of Lord Bahamut. And always remember the key forging ahead, and good luck on your drops.